And we're back in the studio. So on today's Tool Tuesday, we're going to get a little negative today, but I'm going to talk about the 3 tools that I regret buying the most. Let's get into it. Here we go. All right, so today's list of tools is actually tools that I don't really care for. They're not all of them are terrible. They just don't work for me, and they might not work for you, especially if you're doing HVAC like I do. And some of these are going to be controversial because some of these tool brands are amazing, and I like a lot of their tools. But let's see what we can get into. So. This one's going to be the super controversial ones because I know a lot of people like these. I don't like these. These, if you're wondering, are the Fieldpiece JL3 Mary Nancy. These are the JobLink Manometer probes. As you can see, they are practically brand new, and the reason being is I don't use them. I bought these thinking they would replace my SDMN5. Which I actually gave it away, but I ended up taking it back because the person I gave it to was my dad and he retired, so he wasn't using it, so I went and got it back and I used that one. If you're planning on getting a set of manometers by Fieldpiece, I would suggest getting the SDMN5 or the SDMN6. They're just much better. The issue I have with these is not the form factor. Like, these are super handy. They're a really good idea for taking static pressure readings. They're great because you can stick them wherever you want, you know, and you're not like restricted by the length of the hose, you know, like you are on some other ones. But the problem with these is the lag. All right, so I just want to show you that I'm doing a static pressure test on my system here, and for this purpose they work great because the airflow is consistent. So I can see I have 0.78 total external static pressure on my furnace, so that's good. But yeah, for something that's running consistently, it's, you know, fine. It's just, you know, something I need to be able to be adjusting like in real time is kind of an issue. So let me go ahead and get this hooked up to the gas pressure, and then we'll adjust the gas pressure and I'll show you what I mean. We have everything hooked up to our gas pressure. This is for the outlet. That's what we're going to be testing. And we'll go ahead and turn it up and down, and then we'll hook up the SDMN5 and show you the difference. So we're at 0, so I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the furnace. All right, so I think you can see that. I'm gonna turn it now. Should be coming down. Should be, like, I turned it a lot, so you can see it's taken forever to actually adjust. So I'm just like cranking this thing, and I'm still at 3.5. I'm definitely not at 3.5. I'm gonna crank, like I'm cranking, and it's still at 3.46. So you can see that this is taking forever. So I might think that I've got my gas pressure to where I want it. As you can see, it's taking forever to adjust. So that's an issue. All right, so we have our SDMN5, and I'm at showing 3.55. Let's go ahead and make an adjustment. Make this bigger so you can see me making the adjustment at the same time. I'm gonna try to do this without burning myself. My target is gonna be 3.4. So I'm turning it right now, and you can see how fast it's adjusting, see? It's almost instantaneous. It's really hard to not burn my finger on this thing. But yeah, see, as I'm adjusting, it's just like instantly coming down. Oops, went too far. Crank it back up, too much. See, so I can really dial it in. There we go, 3.4. So that's why I like the SDMN5 over the JL3MN JobLink manometer. All right, so you knew this one was coming. So this is the Milwaukee 8-in-1 multi screwdriver. I hated this thing. I really wanted to like it, but I still don't like it. After I released that video, I continued to use it in the field because I was like, maybe I can figure something out. I still love the feel of the handle. I mean, it's really comfortable. I actually prefer the handle over the, what do you call it? Over the Klein. It's just more comfortable. But I still don't like this thing, the center part. If I just had the handle and then these, and we got rid of this, I'd be happy. This is what causes, this part right here is what causes all the issues. So the actual bits on here, these shockwave bits, are really good bits. You know, it fits in my impact, it's fine, everything works great, but I just don't like this little retention thingy. I don't even know what this is called. As you can see, there's a little, what do you call it, a little arrow right there. And basically that dictates that you can only put it in that direction into the handle, like that, right? So on like my Klein, so here's an example, right? So on this side we have a Robertson or square, and then we have a slotted. So let's say I'm using my slotted, right? And I want to use my, my square drive. So I could just pull this out, flip it over and stick it back in. Well, I can't do that. Right now I have my Klein 11-in-1. On this side I have a fill-up, and then I have a Schrader. So let's say I have to unscrew my fill-up, but now I need to take the Schrader cord out. I can just flip it over, stick it in there like that, and do my thing. Super quick, super fast, right? Well, for this one, if I wanted to do that, I have to take this out, right? I can either swap the bits out by doing this. Whoops. Swap the bits out like that and shove it, whoops, wrong one, shove it back in there like that. And that takes a lot more time. Or what I would have to do is I would have to take that out. Let's just pretend these bits were already in this position, because I have them in a specific order to try to you know, minimize me having to do this. But basically I would take this out, flip it over like that, put this one in here, and then I would shove that like that. So that's, I mean, there's some obvious similarities from this to this. And if you're going to try to make something to compete with this, it needs to be as good or better. And I feel like it's not better, and it's not as good. I can deal with the fact that it's only an 8-in-1, because the nice thing about this is it has the 1/4-inch bits, so you don't need those double-sided bits. However, you do have some benefits of the way this works, and I'll go into that in a minute. But you know, so that you can really customize this, because you can put any bit you want. It could be a Klein bit, it could be a WeHa bit, it could be a Shockwave bit, it could be DeWalt, whatever bits you want to put in there, and whatever sizes or styles you want to stick in there. So you can really customize it. And it's like that on all the sides, you know. They're all 1/4-inch bits. They don't have any of those double-sided ones. So that's a positive. The handle is super comfortable. The actual bits are great, you know. It's just that part where I can only put it in one direction is super annoying. And then here's the thing that's this is just what kills it for me. This is the deal breaker, right? Okay, so I don't know if that focus, so you see here, that's where it's in there, right? See, it goes in there, it's in all the way, okay, right? I'm holding it up here. There's no retention. Let me show you the, this is the Klein. Now you can see I have to really pull on it to get it to come out, right? It's in there, right? Doesn't come out, okay? And now just to show you here, this is the Klein, or I'm sorry, this is the Milwaukee one. I'm putting it in the Klein driver, right? See, so it doesn't come out. So it's this thing, it's the retention system of this. It's terrible. Like here's the Klein one, right? I'm gonna put it in here, right? This is the Klein one. It's in there, right? So it's not the bits. Like even the Milwaukee one, it's not the Milwaukee. It's this retention system. I don't know if it's just mine, but that's terrible. And then like, look at this side. This is the other side, right? So yeah, it just doesn't work. And it's a safety hazard. I actually was using this thing, like I had it in my pocket, you know, in my pants pocket, and I pull it out, and sometimes, you know, it gets caught up on the pocket sleeve, and I'm on top of a scissor lift, and you know, when I went to grab it, you know, this thing flung out because it doesn't hold, and it flew down and almost hit somebody. So I just don't use this anymore. So I don't know what's going on with it, but the retention system on this is just terrible. And it's got ball detents, I think, in there, but I just don't know why it's so terrible. So because of that, I don't recommend you buy this until they fix the retention system. Everything else except for the retention system and the fact that you can only go back into the handle one direction, for me, those are a deal breaker. So I don't recommend this one at all. All right, but last but not least, this is the Crescent forged wire stripper. I don't like this. You may have remember seeing this in my forged wire stripper comparison video. I'll put a link to that one there. I heard some really good things about this thing, but it's not working for me. I don't know if it's just mine that's bad or if they're all like that, but yeah. So let me just show you the issue with this. So on first glance, it looks good. It feels good. It's comfortable to hold. It's definitely, you know, it's not cheap. It's pretty premium. It can cut 6 30-seconds and 8 30-second screws, just like any stripper would, which is pretty cool. So we go ahead and just screw that in. We just thread that in there like that. This bolt's been getting kind of short because I've been cutting it a bunch. Right, and then we just back that out. Nice clean cut. No real issues. You can see my nuts on there. Comes off pretty easily. The moment of truth is, can we get the nut back on there? No problems. Yep, there you go. It's a nice clean cut. The cutter on this thing is pretty awesome. Totally cuts great. Okay, so the issues is doesn't strip great. Well, it's a stripper. I mean, that's the one thing it needs to do right. Well, it does 10 stranded. This is a 10 stranded wire. This is off of a compressor. So if I do it, right, I do that. Now I want to strip it. I can't strip it, right? And look at that. I'm not holding it down, or I'm not like pinching it off, right? So what I have to do is I have to wrap the wire around my hand. Just so yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, what the heck? And I'm pretty sure I ripped some of the conductors off. Yep. So here's the, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this on camera, but let's see. If you can see inside there's little pieces of copper. It's definitely damaging the copper, like you can see here. See here. I don't know if you can see those separated strands right there. They're shorter than the rest of the strands. That's because they're broken. So, you know, this just does not do the job. I mean, it's just not going to work. So it's terrible. Let me try something smaller. I think this is 14 gauge, and we will make sure we're doing the 14 stranded. So let me go ahead and cut this off here. So we have at 14 stranded. I don't know if that shows there. See, that's at 14 stranded. Go ahead and do that. So again, I have to yank on it, and it shouldn't be that hard. Doesn't look like it damaged the conductor on this one. Yeah, it scratched it a little bit on the edge. I don't know if this is gonna show up, but right there, right by the jacket, you can see that it's kind of messed up. So it doesn't do a very good job. It does do thermostat wire okay, I think. So we have some, this is 18 gauge solid. The outer, this is the outer part. I'm gonna see if I can cut that with the 10. No, it already ripped it. So yeah, so let me see here. Now it does do 18 okay. I mean, I don't see yeah, 18's fine, 18's solid. So it seems to strip solid cable okay, no problem. It's just the stranded stuff, and a lot of the stuff that I work with is going to be stranded. So yeah, that's kind of a letdown. I mean, it does thermostat wire, so that's good. But yeah, this is definitely a tool that I will not be using again. This one's going to be probably sitting in a bag. Am I going to sell it? Probably not, because I just wouldn't feel right selling it to somebody else. I don't feel right for somebody having to pay money for this. So that was the 3 tools that were a total disappointment for me, especially this Milwaukee 8-in-1. I pre-ordered this thing. I was super excited about it. Milwaukee makes good stuff, but man, this one just is terrible. You guys need to fix the retention system. I was thinking about buying another one just to see if maybe this is just like a bad one, but I mean, how could that be bad? It's got a ball detent that holds it in. It's just really weak. Let me know in the comments if you picked one of these up, and can you do this without it flying out? Because that's just ridiculous. Like, I mean, look at this. It's my trusty 11-in-1. I love this thing, and I really wanted to love this, but yeah. I'm just like really frustrated. I really wanted to like this. I love the handle. I actually like the handle better than this one. And I wish I could like just take the guts out of this one, stick it in here, but this one's 1/2 inch and this one's I think 9/16. But yeah, and then this thing, I wanted to like this too. Like I like Crescent. Crescent makes good stuff, and this wasn't overly expensive, and it's comfortable in the hand. It's got like the big massive, like it's kind of like a lineman's plier. It even has like that cross hatching stuff on there, so it's got like really good grip. And then it has the little space for nuts and bolts so you can kind of grab stuff. I like to use this for those hangers, the all thread hangers, so you can like tighten them on there using that. But yeah, it's just a bummer. Yeah, don't get this one. And then these, I've been trying to like these for years, and they just let me down every time. Anytime I have to adjust gas pressure, I just look at these and I'm just like, no. So, I mean, maybe if they ever come out with the JobLink Pro 2s, they'll have better connectivity and they'll be a little bit faster to update. But yeah, the lag on these is just too great, and it's just not workable for something where I need to see an instant change. Like if it's like a 1/2 second or something, or a second delay, that's workable. But these, I don't know how long the delay is, but it's pretty ridiculous. So anyway, these are the 3 tools that that have caused me the most frustration, and I'm hoping that you don't buy them too, because it's really frustrating when you're excited about a tool and you spend money on it and it just lets you down. Like, it's a total bummer. So hopefully this video has helped you avoid that frustration. And again, these are the 3 tools that I regret buying. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment, tell me what a horrible technician I am. Hit that bell notification and follow me on Instagram, Facebook. And if you want to support the channels, I would normally say buy these tools, but in this case, don't buy these tools. but you can support the channel by getting some awesome work socks by Camel City Mill. I have the QR code and the information there. Nighthawk 10 will get you 10% off of these amazing work socks. They will keep your feet very happy. I know they keep mine happy. And they're coming out with a lot of new stuff too. So anyway, check that out. There's also some other links in the description below. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.